Thank you for joining us. With me today, I have Romaine Wright of Just Right Consulting. She's being featured as my January expert on my Network Experts playlist on Jen Carpenter Secure and Savvy on my YouTube channel. We met recently on our journey. We've been hanging out in some of the same great places, having cool conversations. She's doing super cool things in the world with the teams that she works with. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about our chat.
Excellent. So you are in the Pennsylvania area as well, correct?
Yes, I am
Pennsylvania.
just outside of Philly.
Awesome. Very cool. So tell us a little bit about the people that you're helping, the kind of problems that you see in the work that you do. So who do you love to work with in your business? And what kinds of things that are you're seeing the problems that you see with the people you work with?
Yeah, so I love working with relatively new entrepreneurs or even serial entrepreneurs who are starting new businesses that are excited about scaling and really looking at their structure and frameworks and asking the question, what do I do to hire people? Right? I need to bring new folks on my team. Maybe they just got a surge of funding, maybe they just got some kind of backing, or maybe they're just super successful and need to grow in order to meet the demand of their work, but they often are so focused on the work itself that they don't really think about the foundational things that they need to have in place in order to bring on a fully functioning team, right? So they may be co-founders, it may be a group of people or a solopreneur that hasn't really thought about not they may have a vision in place and a mission in place because those things kind of are top of mind when it comes to business foundations, but they haven't thought about an employee value proposition or what the code of ethics look like or what success looks like for working at their company. And so I come in and help them get some clarity around all of that, build those systems and processes so that when they hire people, there's something in place. And if they already have a team, but it's not working cohesively, I help them to bring alignment between across the way that they operate.
Very cool. I was really intrigued when you explained a little bit deeper about what it looks like to have that the culture and all of that that you were talking about a second ago. Hang on just one second. I wanted you to elaborate on what you talked about with core values and mission and how you develop that piece of helping a business with that, because I didn't really know that was part of what you do. I
Mhm.
thought it was just more like the hiring side and building teams, that sort of thing. So a lot of it is the mission behind what everybody's doing. So tell us more about that, please.
Yeah, so it really depends on what stage a company is at when I work with them. If they have a team in place, we're jumping into aligning their team behaviors and building that culture. But if they don't have teams in place and they're preparing for that, I definitely help them to build again those foundational things, and values is one of them, right? And so one of the things I jump into immediately with founders in particular is helping them to establish their immutable laws first. And so if you're not familiar with immutable laws, these are kind of like the guardrails.
Okay.
So they're much more theoretical in mind than when we think about values of a business, but things that govern how you work and who you're going to work with. So I'll share a few of mine. I have five to kind of give you a flair for these, again, very high level theoretical
Love this.
guardrails that help me to decide, is this someone I want to work with in a way that isn't conditional on business, but more vibe, right? And
I
how I
love
like to
this.
work,
I had
who I
no
like to
idea.
work
I'm
with.
so excited
Oh,
for
yeah.
you to dive into like the backside. Like you just meet somebody and you learn what you learn. Oh, you do this for teams, but this is awesome. So keep going.
So, so a couple of mine, I've got them up here so that I can be reminded. But Mine is I'm the master of my calendar and not a slave to it. So that's one of mine. So I know if I'm talking to someone that potentially wants to engage with me and they're trying to dominate my time, that is not a good fit for me because I refuse to be pigeonholed, right? So I have a bandwidth that I manage and it has to fit into that. Another one of mine is be authentic. My tribe loves me. So if I feel myself needing to step outside of who I am authentically to show up for a team or a company, it's not a good fit for me, right? So, and then I'll share one more,
Yes,
stay
please
in my
do.
lane, right? So people come to me all the time, particularly because I'm known for a range of different things depending on the context in which you meet me. And so, if what you're asking me for is outside of my sphere of what I'm doing now, I may be able to do it, but I'm not because
Yeah.
I am staying in my lane. This is what my sphere of influence and excellence is right now. And so I as I network and build relationships, I keep a log of what people do that I can feel comfortable making referrals and say, "Hey, that's not a good fit for me," or "I'm not doing that anymore." But I know someone that does, and I'll be glad to do an introduction if you're open to that. And so this is something I walk entrepreneurs through as well. What are your
Love it.
immutable laws?
Beautiful.
What are those guardrails that for your business that um determine how you make decisions about who you're going to work with? Because that's part of culture too. It's really behind the scenes, but it absolutely is part of culture, and it empowers your employees to know that they can say no to certain types of potential clients and requests as well.
That sounds like so much fun, and I'm so glad that you shared three of them. It's taking the mantras and affirmations to a whole nother level.
Mhm.
Doing that for yourself as well, personally, and for the businesses. It sounds like it's like so much fun actually to come up with those things. Really, what it is it's the lessons learned. Everything is the lessons learned, and then you remind yourself in those moments, and it helps you make better decisions of where you want your energy and attention to go. It's also like what I talk about too is your honorable commitments to yourself. That is
Mhm.
how you honor your integrity and your commitments to yourself by abiding by those rules and laws that you have for yourself. I just absolutely love it. So, like I said, we've met a few times, we've been interacting, but like to learn that powerful piece of what you do is just so awesome. So, that's one way that you solve problems in businesses. Tell
Mhm.
us more about what you call like your signature program, Thrive or Derive, correct?
Yes, so Thrive or Derive is my signature program. It is rooted in psychology and behavior management, which is what my educational background is in. And as I've crafted this career now focused on leadership development, my goal is always to dig down to behaviors so that there's real growth and sustainability rather than just checking a box to say, hey, I did this class and I had fun, or I did this program and I had fun, but we're just going to go back to doing what we've been doing.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, rooted in psychology, particularly industrial organizational psychology and positive psychology. And I also have integrated into it a couple of certifications I have related to personality styles and the way that teams operate. So it's delivered in a process called the CAP model. So CAP stands for clarify, align, perform.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
at the beginning in that clarify stage is all about again building that foundation, and depending on where a company is determines kind of what pieces of it I share with them. But all of their leaders, and depending on the size of the company, maybe the entire company, go through personality assessment when we talk about that and how that affects the way that they work together, how it affects the way that they communicate, things that motivate them, things that stress them, to bring some understanding and self-awareness at the level of me as an individual, and now how does this play a role in my team, as well as defining what their culture is, and again, values and all that behind the scenes stuff. Then we
Absolutely
shift
love
to,
it. Go
go,
ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
great.
ahead. Go ahead.
Then we shift into alignment, which is now that we've got that foundation, how do we work together as a team more effectively? And that's where I deliver the 5 behaviors depending on not just where they are in hiring, but also how their teams work together. So there's kind of two paths that I can take with them. One being professional development, where it's just additional development of them as leaders and professionals. And then it could be the other side is team development. So it's we work together as a cohesive team with shared responsibilities and shared outcomes. And how do we work more cohesively together, starting with building trust, how to have productive conflict, how to get commitment, even if it's not something I agree with, how to hold each other accountable, and then how do we move forward with these shared goals, gaining alignment again and working more cohesively. And then that last level perform is now let's put it all into practice. And so that's where I offer coaching, I offer what I call application labs, and just all the things needed to build everything we've done into the way that they operate so that they can sustain it and continue to move forward. And we do all of this in 6 months.
That was going to be my next question. So yeah, 6 months of getting to hang out with Romaine Wright. You just have amazing, amazing things that you're doing. I love the fact that you're focusing on culture and doing what people are passionate about. Like that's what I hear what you're saying. Being able to make a business thrive and successful in the way they want to show up in the
Mhm.
business and all of that. So I absolutely love it. So 6 months usually they work with you, and then tell us more if they go beyond that, or sometimes people hang out with you longer.
Yeah, so the standard for the signature program, which I call Thrive or Derive on purpose, right? So we're going to design your culture so you can thrive, or it's going to derive anyway, right? So pick which one you want to go.
Yeah.
But standard is 6 months. If they want to move faster, I can do it in 3 months. If they want to take some time because they're, you know, for whatever reason, I can stretch it to 12 months. And then if companies want to engage with me for an additional period of time or for additional work, I can help them design their onboarding programs, actually create structure to their HR operations, and just really their unique deliverables and operating systems. They need help with that as well. Usually, what happens is quarterly or annual, kind of coming back and refreshing on things,
Nice. That's
and
great.
uh
They can have
leadership
that
coaching.
long-term relationship with you
Mhm.
and be able to check back with you each year as a resource and review how everything is going. Tell us a little bit about one of those areas you just talked about, maybe with a success story of somebody or a business that where they went from here to there, somebody, a team that you helped and the results they got, how you were able to help them.
Sure. So, talked earlier about being known for a few different things, and one of those things I was gaining traction on was DE&I training. So I was building a reputation for that, and had quite a few engagements while I was working at my corporate job, to come do one-off DEI training, build a relationship with a company who had me come in for that and loved me so much that they said, hey, DE&I is something that we would really like to build into our culture, because quite honestly, there are some folks that are resistant to the terminology,
Hmm.
but we understand the value of it and we want to embed it into the way that we work. So how can we do more culture focused work and you can kind of build DEI into it. And I was like, great, that's actually my real approach, and that's the approach that should be taken. It shouldn't be this extra thing.
Okay.
And so let's start doing some culture work. And so they brought me back a couple of times to do some culture workshops with them. And I could see from the first workshop I had with them to the second and third time I came back, um, the change, even just in the racial and ethnic diversity of the group. And of course they had surveys, so we went back to their surveys and started to see, statistically, that they had not just a more diverse work population or workforce, but they had specific policies and things that they were starting to embed DEI practices into, or inclusivity into in general, because they were heavily working on their sustainability plans as their most senior people were ready to retire. And
Aha, I see
so
what you're
I
saying.
could,
I see what you're saying. The sustainability of keeping the people that they have there happy and
Mhm.
yeah.
And also meeting their goals in diversifying their workforce, not just in race and ethnicity, but also in gender, because it's finance and it's a pretty white male dominated industry. So in gender as well, in the level of education and background. And they were really excited about the progress that they were making, and then getting to a place where they were able to start to integrate it into the way that they operate, and their vision and mission and values, as opposed to it being this separate thing that some people felt was unnecessary and just kind of trendy.
Well, and to implement all of that and create a better culture that gets better results. So,
Mhm.
like you said, people are happy, business is thriving, business is growing by having these systems, structures, and cultures in place, by having everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and that having everybody on the same page is another thing that was, I am in, again, part of those immutable laws, right? I work with companies who are already invested in improvement, right? You're putting out fires, that's not a good match for me. And so one
Okay,
of the things
gotcha.
that they said was, we're investing in this, everybody's got to participate. So everyone, including the CEO, was in my training workshops. And that's a huge commitment to kind of shut down for half a day or even a full day.
True.
Say, this is development for us, and for him to be in the room. And there came a point during one of the sessions where he said to me, I feel like they're being a lot more reserved because I'm here, and I want them to be open and candid. And so we started after the break with him giving them permission to be honest, because
Okay.
hey, we're making this investment, we've brought Romaine in, but we're also saying we're making this investment in changing the culture. And they, took the gloves off
Oh, wonderful.
afterwards, because he really opened the door for them to be candid and open and honest about their thoughts, and with the goal of, improving the company for its future.
Wow, amazing. Tell me a little bit about your background too before your entrepreneurship journey, just super brief. Like the Romaine we see today, that's what I'm getting at. You are just a brilliant person, and I know you've been doing this for a while, so I just want to touch on that, like kind of what you did before and where you've gone with just write yourself as well.
Sure. So I actually started in the mental health field.
Ah,
Again, my background being in psychology, with the
aha,
intention of going the clinical route, and learned about IO psychology, so industrial organizational
aha.
psychology.
Okay.
Um, Employee training was always something that I did, because I was often the first person in a role that created the systems and the way that, translated that job description on paper into practice. So I was always training people, and found that that was something I really loved. So I
Ah,
shifted my career to focus on that in the organizational side of psychology. And I've been on that train for about 15 years or so,
wow.
really focusing on building the systems around an organization and everything that comes along with that related to the people. and how they experience the workplace. I've done a lot of building things from the ground. Um, that's part of how I got here to
I
where I
love
am.
it. Love it. And you've got your podcast too that you have called Founder Culture. Is that correct?
I do, yes, founder culture with Romaine Wright.
Yeah. So, where would you like otherwise people to connect with you on LinkedIn? Do you want them to go to your website? Well, how would you like people to get on your calendar and have a conversation with you if it makes sense or just to network?
Sure, LinkedIn is a great place to find me. I am on LinkedIn more often than anything else, and I can be found on LinkedIn by searching for my name, Romaine Wright, or my kind of tag at the end of the LinkedIn URL is team dash alignment dash strategist.
Yes, you are the team alignment strategist. Love that. Also, your website if you want to share that, and we'll have all the links below in the description as well.
Sure. So my website is www.jwconsultllc.com.
All right.
And you can find my podcast, Founder Culture, on YouTube and all the streaming podcast platforms as well.
How often do you put out your YouTube videos?
Sure, my podcast episodes drop bi-weekly, and though I am finished recording, or at the time of this this airing will be at the very end of season 1. So the last episode will be dropping December the 30th, but season 2 will be launching in Q2, early Q2 of 2026.
Awesome. You've been doing your podcast for this whole past year as well, or longer? How long have you been doing your podcast?
I've been doing my podcast. I started recording maybe May.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no,
Awesome.
later than that.
Very cool.
Probably like June. First episode dropped in August.
Awesome. So you've got bi-monthly YouTube videos on your podcast. So definitely make sure you connect with Romaine Wright on YouTube. Are you also there? Again, the links will be in there, but Romaine Wright, team alignment strategist in on YouTube as well.
So bi-weekly episodes,
Yes.
and you can search for my name, yes, Romaine Wright, or for the company Just Right Consulting, LLC.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about what's going on in your world or anything coming up otherwise?
I am just continuing to grow and be out here and build networks. I definitely welcome any connections, conversations as well. Um, yeah, so nothing major to share
Okay.
new other than
Sounds
planning
good.
for season 2. Really excited about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And yeah, reach out to
Awesome.
me.
Yeah, definitely. Please connect with Romaine Wright. She's doing amazing things. I really loved diving deeper into what you do behind the scenes, really, and the principles that you help businesses abide by, like I said, and grow better together. So it's really cool to have taken a deeper dive into everything today with you. So this is our January episode, like I said, 2026, actually. Thank you for your time here. We air these episodes on my YouTube channel, Jen Carpenter Secure and Savvy, the Network Experts playlist, by the last Friday of every month. So stay tuned for the next one coming out for more amazing, awesome, brilliant people that I get to work with. So thank you again, Romaine, for being here.
Thanks.